Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about a update. I recently acquired a new gun, um, and it's going to be going on my CCW permit. This is my current all-time favorite on my CCW. This is the P365 XMacro Comp California Edition. Love this thing. Fits great, and it is very, very easy to shoot, in my opinion, and very favorable compared to my other guns that I have used for and have listed on my CCW. But the new one that's going to be replacing one of my guns, the one that it will be replacing, is the Kimber, the Micro 9. I do love this gun, and it serves its purpose. One thing that this is better than the 365 is concealability. As you can see, stacked up next to it, obviously there's no red dot, there's no light. It's a little bit smaller. Even if you get rid of the red dot, you get rid of the light, it's still smaller in the barrel and it's still smaller in the magazine. This is with the magazine, and obviously if you throw the magazine in there, it's even a little bit bigger. So this is a little bit easier to conceal than this, depending on your style of holster. But I'm going to be replacing this. One of the reasons I'm replacing this, I'm replacing it with something that the biggest advantage is the magazine capacity. This standard magazine capacity on the Kimber Micro 9 is only 7 bullets, 7 freedom seeds, which is sufficient. It works, but there's still, I think there's some scenarios where more than 7 would be nice. And this is a little bit big. It's a thick one. And I was looking at something that, my wife is looking at doing, getting her CCW permit as well. So I wanted to get something that would be beneficial for her, because she doesn't shoot this very good. She's not as well, not as good of a shot when it comes to, a micro or a concealed carry. But this is the new one. A lot of people know these. These actually aren't on the California roster. Maybe eventually they will be. Who knows? That's a $1 million question right there. But this is the Bodyguard 2.0. This is Smith & Wesson. I've actually really liked this gun. When I first got it, I put it in my hand. It was like, this is actually very comfortable. It came with 2 magazines. One of them, obviously, I don't have. One is the 10 round, which sits flush, and another one is a 12 rounder, which sits out a little bit further, and you have a full size grip on it. But one of the big difference between this and the Micro 9 is this is actually a 380. So there's a little bit less of a kick, a little bit less of a punch. One beauty that I really like about this gun is actually, with it being a 380, really uncommon for most 380s, the bore axis is a lot higher on most 380s, but this one is really, really low. So as you can see, when it's in my hand, it's sitting very low in my hand. And the only issue with that is if you ride it too high and you start shooting, the slide will be hitting your hand. And actually you can see that because it's a dirty gun, you can actually see where it's marking up my hand already. I haven't cleaned this yet. I think we've put about 200, 300 rounds in it between a couple of us. But it shoots great. The sights are a little bit big. It has a very big U, as you can see right there. It's a little bit easy to get lost in the sight, but something like this, it's great for really close quarters. You're 10 rounds. You can confidently shoot this 10 rounds. And I mean, I'm not to boast, but I can shoot more than 10 rounds. But for a lot of people, even with your fishing in that sight, you can still shoot 10 rounds pretty confidently for the most part. It does have a thumb safety. There's models with a thumb safety and without a thumb safety. But the purpose of something like this, again, compared to this, size is crazy small compared to the 365. And the 365, the XMacro, is already a small gun. As you can see, it's a lot thinner. This will conceal amazingly for those really hot days. For days you're wearing a suit or a tucked in shirt, this could easily fit in a pocket if you needed to. They make pocket holsters, even in a regular holster. This is a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to conceal than something like this, or even something like this, just because this is a little bit fatter. So this is a great, as some would call it, a church gun. This is a great Sunday gun when you don't have a lot of thicker clothing or a lot of clothing in general. This is easy to conceal. That's why I think it's always important and always good to have, a micro carry or a macro carry on your CCW permit, because there's some days where this is just a little bit too big. Most days, this is perfect. I love the bigger grip. I have a lot better accuracy, a lot more purchase on the handle, but I still have sufficient purchase on this. I'm still a sufficient accurate shot with this, but I still highly recommend having a smaller gun on your CCW permit. Anyways, I know, guys, it's not the typical California roster. You can purchase these, even though they're not on the roster. You can purchase them through PPT, which is a private party transfer, like a friend that you know that lives in the state, not out of the state. You can have interfamiliar transfer, which is from your like father, son, mother, son, immediate families, whether it be your parents or your kids. That's the only way you can do them. Um, you might be able to do grandparents. I can't remember. I'll throw it up here on the screen if you can. I'll have to look into that again. And then the other way is finding them used online. There's a bunch of sites on them, a bunch of websites. Not really a bunch, actually. There's only a couple. But at the same time, because it's not a California roster pistol, you're going to pay a premium for it. And it's really, really unfortunate. I hate it that people take advantage of that. But those are the only three ways you can get them. Unless you're a police officer, then you can buy them regular price. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But that's the only ways you can obtain something like this currently, because it is not on the California roster. If you have questions about that, put them down in the comment, and I'll make a video, or at the very least, I'll comment back and let you know places you can get them, like online websites and stuff like that. I'm not a seller of these, and I have no intention of selling this. But I bought this for myself, for one, but also for my wife, something that she can conceal a little bit easier for her. Again, highly recommend having a compact on your CCW, because there's some days where this is just a little bit too big. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, this isn't a typical California roster firearm, but it's something that I think is important to have on your CCW. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy your day.